on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach La La La. Hey. How's everybody feeling? Well. It is a rainy night in Boston. I am just like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing with this weather, y'all? But it is a rainy night in Boston, and but I'm here, and I'm excited to be here with everyone. You are tuned into another episode of Conversations with Coach La 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 right here on the Urban Heat. Boston has Black radio, baby. Well, I have been a busy therapist. I have definitely been outside. First and foremost, I want to give some shout outs. I'm going to give a shout out to the Titus Foundation. They recently did the inaugural Boston Unsung Awards at Sorrow and Lime. That was a great experience. I truly enjoyed myself. I also, what else did I do this weekend? Sometimes I'll tell you, I do so many activities that I totally forget all of the things that I have been up to. But that was the major event that I did. I got a chance to meet Edwin Moses, who is a two-time gold Olympian, and he changed the game for the 400-meter hurdles. So I got a chance to meet him. I also met the international saxophonist Elon Trotman. He was also just a pleasure to meet. So I really am excited for all of the things that, people are doing in the community, and just recognizing all of our heroes and all of the people who have just done really great work. It was a beautiful experience to see. So what are we talking about tonight, y'all? Well, tonight's conversation is all about what happens when the world puts you on a pedestal and then decides that they want to take you off of it and starts to throw stones at you. As you know, this is season 9, and season 9 has been all about the evolution, the healing and the evolving of Coach La, right? Because this is my year to turn 50, so it's the chapter 50 year. And we're going to be really talking about admiration versus criticism, and also power versus pressure. So tonight we're not just talking about taking and achieving the wins. We're also talking about the costs that we endure to keep it. So tonight I want to introduce you to I would say she's one of my mentors. We go way back from when I actually used to do multi-level marketing, and I got a chance to meet her at this event called Martini Mondays, which was probably about 10 years ago. But she is a trailblazer in multi-level marketing. She's $1 million brand in herself. One of the things I remember about her is when she would do marketing and she would do billboards, and she would also wrap the buses in a lantern. I had never seen anything like that. She's known for her discipline. She's known for luxury. She's known for being unapologetic about leadership and dedicating her life to really making people see their worth beyond what they see in themselves. So she has a polarizing yet powerful personality in entrepreneurship spaces. So I want to introduce you to none other than the phenomenal Miss Stormy Wellington. Hey, Stormy.
Everybody, how y'all doing?
I hear you. I'm good. How are you? Where are you checking in from today? Looking all nice and glowed up. You said today you was out swimming.
I was swimming, so my hair is a little wet. Not wet, it dried up, but it dried puffy, and I don't have any of my, hair stuff. So hey, this is what y'all gonna get today. Authenticity is at its finest. So I'm home. I'm actually in Miami, but I had a Sunday fun day.
Oh, I love that. Your skin looks gorgeous.
I use Lumi Bright. That's Lumi Bright Line. Yep, my product, one of my products that I sell.
Yep, I'm still waiting on my package. You were supposed to send me some goodies.
Oh, I forgot, girl. I'm actually hiring a new assistant. I actually literally forgot to drop off your package, but you can order it.
Yes, I can. So you got to tell me what to get though, because if not, I'm gonna have no idea what to get.
I got you. No worries.
So I saw a couple of things for cellulite and some other things that I would love to try. So tonight, I've been bringing on different people who I deem to be trailblazers in resilience. This can be a very difficult world to navigate. Although we can be successful one minute, the next minute people will come for everything that you built, and you're constantly having to rebuild and reinvent yourself. So who is Stormy Wellington outside of the branding and outside of what we can go Google and do a Google search, the headlines? What's something that people will be surprised to know about you?
I'm every woman. It's all in me. I'm
Yes.
every, I'm every woman. It depends on the day of the week, the time of the day, the reason or the season that I'm in. You know, what you get is based upon the season that I'm in. I am a woman that came through some very tough times growing up. I was a teenage mom at 13. I was a stripper at one point in my life. I was in the streets hustling to survive, to make a way. I'm a woman that always believed that, I was going to be successful. I didn't know how I was going to be successful, but I always was that type of person to figure things out. Teenage mom, high school dropout. I didn't graduate. I did go back and get my GED, but I got a story like all of us. I just decided to turn my trials and my tribulations into triumphs, and now I'm in a new season of my life. And so people know me from social media. They know me from viral clips. They know me from being real. They know me from being an author. They know me from helping people. They know me from my disciplines. They know me for my authenticity. And some people know me for my boldness. And I am a mother of three children. And what people don't know about me is I'm really cool. I'm hella cool. I just want all of us to become the best version of ourselves. And so I have a very, how can I say it, unorthodox way of doing it. And so a lot of people don't appreciate people who are authentic like me. And so yeah.
I would have to say that, something, and tell me your opinion on this. There's a difference between honesty and transparency. And I think a lot of times you've been so transparent, wrapped in honesty, and people don't know always how to take that, because a lot of times people sugarcoat things. And I've always thought you were nurturing in what you said. It's like having that big mama, that auntie, that big sister that tells you about yourself. Is not always going to tell you what you need to hear, but what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And I think they misunderstand that at times. What do
As I listen back to some of my old like videos and stuff, I think that tonality matters. I think that uh, when you have a certain look for this day and age, people want you to look a certain way. If you're at a certain age and you have a certain swag, you believe me. If I have a different swag than what you think I'm supposed to have based upon the subject matter that I'm talking about, you could be turned off. I'm 46. I'm real fly. I love God. I'm a very powerful woman, and I'm cute. You don't think a woman like me will have the kind of wisdom that I have. You think a woman like me will be dressed in church clothes with a big church hat with big church shoes. So a lot of people don't respect me because I think they just don't like the package that I come in.
Mm.
And that's why, a long time ago they said, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge me by what you see on the outside. Give me a chance to let you see what I really have. And it's really a beauty and a love for people from the inside.
I was watching one of your videos earlier today, and you were walking with a group of women, and you were saying people say they want something, but they don't really want to do the work that's necessary to get that done. What did you mean by that?
A lot of people have this visual or this dream of what they think life is supposed to be, or the thing that they want. They dream about it. But if you don't wake up from the dream and get to work, you're gonna live your nightmares. So I've learned that I can have anything I want if I could believe that I can have it and I could do the work to get it. Faith without works is dead. A lot of people in this day and age, people don't realize, but we've been preparing ourselves for a quote unquote um what is that word I'm looking for? That begins with an R. When you have no money. What is it called that they've been talking about? A time I just was talking, a recession. A lot of us have been in a recession mindset. And recession means a time of decreased economic activity. I think COVID messed us up. I think that government assistance, PPP messes up, Section 8 food stamps. And I think that some people need these things. If you can't, work, if you don't have the mental capacity or the physical capacity to work, I think the government should help you out. But I think willing, able-bodied citizens should work for what they want. It feels better when you go earn it. And a lot of people will say they want something, but when it's time to go put in the work, they won't do the work. And so to have a life that people dream of, you got to work. You got to get off your knees from praying and get on your 2 feet and start walking. And a
As
lot of us, we got into the prayer culture. We got to get into the push culture. Pray, but pursue until something happens. So I've been a girl. If I have work ethic. One thing I tell a person, you ain't gonna outwork me. So the only reason why you ain't gonna beat me, it ain't because you may be better than me. You may not, have the things that I've been able to accomplish in life. But if you're willing to work more than me, you can have more than me. But most people won't outwork me, and that's where I win. I win in my disciplines and I went in my work ethic. And as I was with those women, I know them, they're in my community. And a lot of them been talking about what they want for a long time. But it's like, when are you gonna put up? So it's like, for real, for me in this next month of June, it's like, put up or shut up. I don't want to hear what you guys say no more. I want to see your actions, because action speaks louder than words.
Yeah, they say faith without works is dead. So this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and a lot of people say they want to do a lot of things. And what I know from being a licensed therapist is that often our belief systems shape our identity, right? Where we came from, how we were raised. How do you think how you were raised and the things that you saw have cultivated this work ethic that you have?
It's interesting because my mom was a hustler. My mom was a go getter. My brothers and my siblings were go getters. I'm grateful for my upbringing, where I grew up and how I grew up. But I remember I used to tell my mom, I'm so inspired to not be like you. I grew up with a mom that sold drugs. I grew up with a drug dealer, family. Drug dealer was all in my family. But I wanted to always have freedom and money, but I didn't want to have to go to jail or commit crimes to do it. So I've always been very afraid of the law. I've always been that girl, though. Even I was in the street stealing at one point, shoplifting at one point, scheming and scamming at one point. I was always the one that did it very reserved, because I just did not want to, be in jail. So I watched my mom live a very scary life. My mom was in the streets. My mom could have got killed, robbed, but she was so serious and so dead set on providing for her family. She was one of those mothers that was willing to get rich or die trying in the name of taking care of her kids. So I do think your upbringing plays a huge role, but I do believe that the pain of your past is not your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. We have to heal ourselves. We can't blame our parents our whole entire lives. It gets to a point where you have to realize that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I may have been born looking like my parents, but I'm gonna die looking like my choices. So we have a choice in the matter to decide to go get help, to go get mentored, to go read books. You got YouTube these days, you got TikTok. It's so many resources for us to learn. We just have to decide that we want to learn and then go find the right tools to be able to work for us. Everybody doesn't learn the same. But if I did not move into a new environment, if I didn't get sick and tired of my circumstances and do something about it, I would still be a statistic. I would still be living in the generational curses that I had to end.
Somebody told me today, they said you have to work with the people that are hungry. I was a co-host of an event and I spoke. His name was Edwin Moses. He was actually one of the first Olympic gold medalists to change the 400-meter hurdles back in 1976 and 1984. And he said, you're not going to be able to save everybody. You're not going to be able to, bring everybody to the water and make them drink. And you got to look for the people that's hungry. And one of the things that I remember when we met the first time was the wisdom and the hunger. And not everybody wants to necessarily follow people who don't look the part. And I think you get a lot of criticism because of looking the part. You got the lifestyle, you got all of the things, and that attracts people to you, but they don't realize how much work it takes to get that. They think just
Right.
being in your proximity that somehow it's going to just manifest out of nowhere. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's been my take on it, is that people will see the lifestyle, they want it, but they don't understand what goes on behind the scenes to get it. They don't get the
Yeah, I've been told that I make it look easy. And, as I travel around the world, I've had people come up to me and say, "Oh, I just want to touch you. If I could just touch the hem of your garment, oh, maybe you could rub some of that off on me." And it's like, it don't work that way.
it don't.
I'm not a genie that you rub. This ain't a genie in a bottle. This is disciplines in the bottle. I am very disciplined. I manage myself like a corporation, and I live within a life system. And when I feel myself getting off, that means it's time for me to redirect my focus, change my life system according to the results I need for the season that I'm in. Anybody can become greater than they currently are if they could just believe and do the work. And it is important. It's true. You do have to be around the right people. People could drain your energy. People could be around you and becoming the weapon form against you that you're allowing to prosper. It could be your family, your friends. And that's why it's important to have a vision and have goals. Because when you have a vision and some goals, you realize, oh my God, wait a minute. Being around her is taking me off of my goals. Being around her is I'm reshaping the vision that I don't want it to be like. We have to know exactly what we want our vision of our lives to be like, and only decide to do things that take us toward our vision. Or you'll wake up and you'll be 50, 60 years old and you'll be like what the hell happened? Life is waiting on no one.
Yeah. Do you think because your vision is you think so big? I remember one time, I might mess this up, correct me, but you said if you reach for the stars, you'll end up on the moon, or it might have been the other way around.
Yeah, you reach for the moon, you may miss, at least you land amongst the stars because you
Yeah,
are a
thank
star.
you.
You got to see yourself as a star from
Yeah,
the beginning. You
right.
got to see yourself as a star day one, even though you may not be one. You got to faith it until you make it. You got to believe.
So I think to a certain extent, having that type of faith can make you seem a little crazy, a little out there. Not everybody believes like how you believe. So I wonder if that is part of why folks will be like, you know what?
You got to have delusion and audacity. Both of them are
So,
important.
so that you misled them. Like somehow they were misled and you made them believe so much that it didn't happen for them. And they got taken advantage of. But I think your faith in yourself is so big and your faith in them is so big that sometimes people can't see even what you see. Like you see it, no matter every time I've ever talked to you, no matter what is happening in your life, your vision stays big. You always believe you can do it. But everybody doesn't think like that. So how do you do that? How do you stay with that mindset no matter what?
It's not easy, but I've learned that only person can dream a bigger dream for me is God, and me and God have to be in a partnership. A lot of people put God outside, like he's over there. I believe that you have big God and you are a little God. And I
Mhm.
believe that even in the Bible, people will perish for a lack of knowledge, right? And without a vision, you'll perish as well. So the same way God have a vision, you got to have one too. And we were created to be fruitful and to multiply. So like if you really believe these things, why don't you get on your assignment? Find a way in your life that you can bear fruit. And I guarantee you, whatever you did to bear fruit in a particular area, it's just understanding systems and strategies and disciplines. Take that same discipline and use it in other areas. So I'm very disciplined with my mornings. That bleeds into my workout. That bleeds into my time with God. That translates into how I am with people. So when you learn to really have a discipline in one area, you can really take that same mindset and use it in other areas and use it to your advantage. So I'm very disciplined, and I know if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Nobody can create the life that I truly want besides me, because nobody want it for me as bad as I want it for me. So how can I expect somebody to give me the best that I could get when they won't even do it for themselves? So I just think it's a reality check that we got to have, that nobody can give you the dream life you want but you. You and God co-create and make it happen.
So as a therapist, I'm constantly telling people to manifest and to think about what would it look like if it worked out. 'Cause some people live in I would say a stinking thinking mindset and also in a pessimistic mindset, right? They're constantly worried about what won't work. So I'm curious for you, what does therapy mean to you? You just broke down a lot of self-care practices that I tell my clients to do, but what does therapy mean to you, and has it ever played a role in your life, especially during the hard times?
I give myself therapy every day. I think that we have a huge, and this may not be the best for your business, but
No,
it is if you believe in helping to heal the person and to make them never need you again. I believe that our goal as leaders in the marketplace is to make ourselves progressively unnecessary. Meaning I want people to be so great that one day they never need me again.
mm-hmm.
So I think that, yeah, sometimes therapy, if you don't really become from it and heal from it, it'll become like a band-aid for the real problem, which is something that you need to chomp down and heal. Most people deal with life issues because of something from the past that they have not really taken the real time to heal themselves from. So I think it's a daily process. I think you're always healing and you always need some form of therapy to be able to relieve yourself and to make clear of what is this situation. Most people always ask what, but I also think sometimes you got to ask yourself, what is this situation sent to do? And therapy can help you to navigate through what is this time saying to me. Some people can do it by themselves. And some people need another force or somebody else to help them to say, this could mean this and this could mean that. Some people need help with ciphering through perspectives. Okay. And I think until you can handle therapy on your own, you need to constantly find somebody to help you navigate through life situations.
Absolutely. So one of the things we share in common, we both use the name coach. And recently in our industry, coaching versus therapy has been a big conversation of what the difference is. And I think you just nailed it. For a lot of people that go get coaching or think they're ready to start a business, they got all this unhealed stuff. They got all this mindset issues that get in the way of them really being able to, I think, become successful and believe what you believe because of all of their upbringing, past experiences that they haven't healed from. What do you think about that? At least that's my opinion.
I think that people really do have healing issues. We should be. This is my philosophy. You should always be working on two things. This is what I believe wholeheartedly. You should always be working on yourself, and you should always be working on a project. A project could be a business, a family member, it's a situation that you're trying to develop, but you should always be also working on yourself. We are never healed. We're always healing. We're either getting out of a situation, going into one, or in one.
Yep.
So I think that you never heal. I think you get better. But if you have the mindset of you're healed, that's now when ego gonna step in and you can easily go back. We can slip back to who we used to be. I could tell you just a couple of weeks ago, I went through a very serious situation that I started slipping and losing myself. And I had to wake up again. So I think you build, you slip, and then you heal, and you wake up again, and you remember, oh my God, what did I do? How did I get here? And now that becomes a blueprint for somebody else.
We call that in my world capacity building. And I think you're spot on in that. I told someone, I said, ideally, if everybody takes the skills and puts it in their toolbox, they won't need a therapist, right? If you actually go do the work, you won't need a therapist. You will get to a place that I will discharge you. So I absolutely wholeheartedly believe,
even though most people won't do the work, right?
That's my point, and why I wanted to even talk to you, because I think there's some unfairness in getting some of the backlash that people don't reach their potential. We can only do so much. We can only write so many books. We can only do so many motivational talks until you get over your own fears, right? You got to talk to people every day. You got to have a project. You got to do things to reach success. It's not going to just happen. And I think for some people, they don't realize that, and they'll blame everybody. We call it confirmation bias in my world, right? Where once you make your mind up about something, you'll look for all of the evidence to prove yourself right, versus challenging your perspective, challenging your narrative, and using someone like you as, if you can do it, I can do it. One of the things someone told me, and I think you might have said this too, is if you want to learn how to do something, find somebody who knows has done it, ask them what they did, and go do what they say.
Exactly.
Most people will do that and go say, well, I'm not going to do that part. I'm going to do this part. You don't know what you're talking about on that part, so I'm going to do it this way, and then think they're going to have the same result. That ain't what I told you to do. How can you expect to get my same results when you didn't follow my blueprint?
Right.
Did you follow it to the T? It's like getting a gym or going to the gym. Your trainer tells you, eat this, do these workouts this many times, this many reps, and you don't do it. And then you think that the gym and working out doesn't work. No, you didn't work the plan. You're not going to get the results if you don't work the plan.
Right.
So all of that is to say, one of the things, visibility is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. You have, I don't know, last time I checked, you got millions of followers, million people watching you every single day. Yet and still, you had a lot of controversy about the things you said, and people haven't followed the blueprint. They're mad because they didn't, reach these certain milestones that you said that they could reach, but did they believe it themselves? So how do you feel that the pressure to constantly appear strong plays into your work with women and yourself?
Wow, that's a good question. Um, Honestly, I think that we have to humanize ourselves and know that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I think one of my uh, biggest qualities is that I don't mind being vulnerable. I believe that all of us has a pain that causes the pivot. There's a pain that you will experience, and one day that pain will make you say, you know what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? But more importantly, God, what am I supposed to do with this? Now that I've learned this, now that it hurts, what do I do with it? So I think that think about it. If life was just, hunky dory all the time and rainbows and kittens and never challenging, would you really grow? Most of us grow through some of the most challenging times. So I would just tell people, become so strong that you can handle life's trials, tribulations, and toils. We got to have a beautiful dance with troubles. Everybody's going to face troubles and adversity. Just learn how to dance with it. And I also believe that adversity advances the assignment. The goal is to pass the test of your abundance. So when adversity comes, you now can dance with it and laugh at it. I was hanging out with Iyanla Vanzant yesterday, and she kept laughing about things she was helping me navigate through. And she was like laughing, and if you don't understand life, you would think that she thought it was a joke. But no, she's laughing like, baby, you're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. It's not that serious. So she laughed like, girl, that ain't that bad. And it was so beautiful to see that life is perspective. You got one person that's crying their way through a situation, and you got another person that's laughing at it. Who's the strongest, wisest one? I think you have to find your capacity to handle life. And if you can learn to laugh at things, how much more stronger would that make you if you could learn to literally know that you are exactly what God wants you to be and laugh at it and say, instead of why is this happening to me, God, what am I supposed to learn from what's happening to me?
Isn't that so true? I think one of the things that we've been, not everybody, some people, the impression that life is supposed to be easy, or that we're not supposed to go through anything, or people are not going to disappoint us, or that we're not going to get hurt. Like, it's all throughout the Bible, all of the trials, tribulations, and people had to pray through it. So why do human beings think that life is supposed to be just laid out?
I don't think nobody really teaches you to dance with troubles. Learn to have a beautiful dance through life. I don't think nobody think we make somebody feel like if something bad happens, be depressed. If something to if life doesn't go your way, quit. We don't help, I think, build resilience. Like, that's why I love being transparent about my problems and my insecurities. Like, I'm a human. I get weary, I get tired, I get frustrated, I get discouraged, I get sad, I get mad, I get thrown off, I get disappointed, right? But that's why you have to develop strength through healing. So when these things come your way, they don't bother you to the point where you give up on your purpose that God has for you.
yeah, I think that's what stood out to me when you were walking. You was like, I have a new assignment. It's not that they're the wrong people, but I know that there's a new set of people that I need to get through this level of where I'm being raised to at this moment. Sometimes our character is being built publicly. With someone of your caliber, like, nothing you do now is just like a secret. And I think my sister once said to me, she said, "You sure you want to go viral?" She said, "Going viral doesn't just bring the good stuff; it also brings the criticism. It brings all of the other stuff too." So how has that affected you, going viral? Because everything you put out now, is gonna be good and bad. People who love you and people who are gonna have bad things to say about you. You said some things to me offline, but how should people handle that? Because I think that's part of what stops people from putting themselves out there, is that they're afraid of people's opinions.
I think, I mean, can we acknowledge that that's a real thing? First of all, can we humanize the fact that we have to understand that being affected by what people think about you, that's a real thing. Of course, we care what people think about us, but that's why the goal should be to know who you are, love who you are, and embrace who you are, and know your assignment and what God has predestined for you to be, or preordained for you to be. Go become it, so that when problems come or people throw darts at you or talk about you, you be like, oh, well, I thank you, God, for preparing the table for me in the presence of my enemies. Every time I went viral, in my mind, that was a table that God was preparing for me. How would people know me if I don't either market or go viral. So viral moments is free marketing for me. I've had 25, 35 million impressions from things I've done, and I just was being myself. So I'm not mad at the viral moments because it gave me an opportunity to impact more people. Now, a lot of people can't handle it because it comes with a lot of backlash, and people tend to judge you off of a 2-second clip. And unfortunately, people who don't get to know my true heart and who I am and how I love people, they take a 2-second clip and think I'm the villain when really and truly I'm someone that just is a vessel serving for what God has for me to do. So I just think that it's unfortunate that we judge people off of a 2-3 second clip. But I will tell you, some of the most amazing people that I've met in my career came from a clip, and they thought I was crazy, and they started following me, and they're like, oh my God, I love you. You're so amazing. So I understand the duality of, all right, somebody saw me and think I'm the scum of the earth. And then somebody else saw me and leaned into me and think I'm the most amazing human that God has ever created. So I have learned to take the good with the bad and just really work hard on becoming somebody worthy to go viral, and now worthy to share something that could change your life when you do come back from that viral moment.
That's so true. That's bars right there. So tell me this, what has entrepreneurship taught you about stress, anxiety, and depression, and even emotional burnout? Because it's not for the faint at heart. A lot of people want to be Stormy Wellington, but when all of this stuff shows up, they crash out.
I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy. I literally just went through an identity shift myself, where I was like, oh my God, like, who am I? After my situation and having to change my conversation, it's like, wait a minute. Like, who am I for real? What do I really want now? Am I still gonna be able to accomplish my goals without being able to say certain things? Like, it's not easy trying to uh reinvent yourself. People get bored with you. You get bored with yourself. Like, I believe when you get bored with you, it's time to reinvent yourself. If you bored with you, other people bored with you. If you bored with your vibe and your energy, the world is bored with you. So it ain't easy keeping up. But again, I think it's about understanding what is your ultimate mission in life, because you would drive yourself crazy trying to keep up with the people in the world. Find your identity, find your lane, find your niche, and what is going to be the value proposition you bring to the world, and stay in it, and be mindful that you could get the imposter syndrome quickly. Somebody could come around, and next thing you know, you're trying to be like them. No, no, be the best version of yourself. Grow from the people God puts in your environment. Be grateful for the people that God puts in your environment, but make sure that you have your vision, because you would easily lose ground. And then you can burn out. Entrepreneurship exhaustion is a real thing. I think it's very important to have community. As I was even with Ayana Van Zant last night and Zakia, they brought to my attention, like, Stormy, you need community. You need community that brings you up. Not always you the one that's responsible for bringing the community up, but they're like, who brings you up? So we all got to be in elevated communities. Maybe the one you feed, but what about who feeds you? So
That's
when
right.
you have the right, community of peers that love you for real and pray for you and don't want nothing from you, but for you to be the best version of yourself, I think you can handle all of the peaks and valleys that come with entrepreneurship. Because I've been an entrepreneur since I was like, 29 for real. I've been in the public eye, like a public figure that came from nothing. I built myself to be a public figure for the past, like, let's say 7, 8 years. I didn't come out my mom's womb like this. I'm not a silver spoon baby. I'm not a rapper. I'm not an athlete. I'm not, housewives of somebody, baby mama. Like, I became known because of my grind, my hustle, and how I make something out of nothing. So just imagine the stress that I have to maintain the fire to even keep the people motivated.
You are
So,
you are a true innovator. Again, not to, because I want to stay focused on you, the woman. You took an industry that didn't have certain things, which is why I brought up Edwin Mosins. If you look him up, he took the 400-meter hurdles, was a part of the Olympics that people didn't even pay any attention to. It was boring. Nobody even liked it. And he changed it with discipline and how he actually dominated for 10 years straight because of how he approached that particular game. You were doing things, blueprints, videos, wrapping buses, billboards. That was something you made yourself a brand. So wherever you go, people knew you. They didn't even necessarily know what you were selling or what company you was. It just didn't matter as long as they were getting mentored and guidance from you. And that's how I learned about you. They were like, "Do you know this lady, Stormy Wellington? She's the bomb. She's changing the industry." And you did. I actually read a couple of your books back in the day. I think I apply that to my practice now and how I do business. There's a lot of nuggets that I've learned from being in certain rooms with people like yourself, but I would wholeheartedly say you do need people who are bigger and who are not always pulling from you, but are also pouring into you too. Something that I have on the screen, according to the American Psychological Association, 45% of women ages 40 to 55 experience a life reevaluation phase connected to identity, career, and purpose. Some people do it behind the scenes, but you're doing it in the public eye. Like you are reinventing, having to keep a straight face, change the way you do things with grace and poise. They think they're gonna stop you, but I think you're just gonna find another way to just do it anyway. So I'm ready to see what you're gonna do. They think by taking your voice and telling you can't say that they're gonna stop something, but it's just gonna make you more strategic and more authentic and bigger and more powerful because you don't have to say any of those things. Because you didn't say any of the things that they accused you of to me. You were just talking about believing yourself. Work hard. Talk to everybody you know about your business. Don't just talk to just your family and your friends. Don't be afraid to talk to strangers. Tell everybody about your products. That's the Stormy I know, right? So I don't know about what they know, but that's the Stormy that I met. So I'm just curious, right? As you are making this shift, as you're making this transition, how does someone who's struggling to reinvent themselves find the courage? How are you finding the courage to keep going?
I mean, first of all, I'm not gonna be nobody's laughing stock. You're not gonna laugh at me. You're not gonna sit back and tell nobody who I used to be. I'm 46 years old, and I remember there was a point in time where I met people, and they was a has been and told me who they used to be. I used to be that dude. I used to be that girl. I used to be fine. I ain't gonna never be a used to be. I'm gonna be 80 years old, still fine. I don't want to be a has been or used to be or remember her. I won't be or remember her. I'll be, damn, y'all see her. So I have a drive that is God driven, and I refuse to lose. No man is gonna put me under. No man that walked this earth will put me under. I'm gonna continue showing up, and I just find new ways to get it done. And I accept the challenge because what am I gonna do? Fold? No, I'm not a quitter. I know what to quit, I know when to hold and I know when to fold. So my drive is knowing how many people watching me and really want to see me fail. A lot of black people love to tear other black people down. And unfortunately, as a black woman, I know that the reward for black success is always ridicule. We love to tear each other down. Most black people don't make it out with a good reputation. Very few of us. So I'm just gonna keep reinventing myself and finding ways to handle my business, but stay out the way of the problem and the troubles that I could cause on my own stuff by saying the wrong things. So it's making me have to think about the things I say now. I really don't have freedom of speech. I never thought in a million years that I would be, in a place where I can't say what I said to manifest, to create. I believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue. I really believe that. I believe that you speak what you want until you see what you spoke. I really believe that. And now I can't even publicly speak the things out of my mouth that used to be just me exercising my ability to attract and manifest. So I just know that, it's obviously a plot to get me to be quiet, to discourage me, to make me want to quit. And I'm just not gonna I couldn't live with the quitter in me. I couldn't live with the fact knowing that I talked all that trash about who I am and what I'm gonna do, and then I have some adversity, then I quit. I would feel like a failure within myself. And I got a lot of self-respect. And I think that's the most important part. When you operate on a very high level of self-respect, you just learn how to maneuver around things that was sent to destroy you.
Oh man, I think a lot of people can relate to that. I know I can, because trials and tribulations continue to come. Life is always life, and so brings me to what this show is all about. bet on self moments. These are those moments in life where if it's not you, then who will it be? And if not now, then when? And I'm constantly utilizing this platform and every guest to encourage people that are out there and feel like because there's other people doing it or no one's done it yet and they don't believe in themselves, right? And so bet on self means to believe, empower, and transform your thinking. Because I believe that, and research shows this too, if you change the way you think, that will influence how you feel, and that will also change how you behave, or aka how you act or your behaviors. So bet on self moments. Where are you at now in this journey of Stormy Wellington?
So I'm really not on a money chase like I used to. I used to be chasing after money, 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 money. Go get the money. Go get the money. I'm more so chasing after my purpose and just being in one with God, feeling spiritually aligned and alive is very important. Feeling spiritually alive and aligned is a job for me. And I think it has a lot to do with your health, the things you do, how you spend time with yourself. So I'm not on a money chase. I'm chasing after God's purpose for my life. I'm on a divine assignment right now, and it's not about money. And it's not easy because most people know me to chase money. But imagine being able to really chase purpose and then the money chases you. So I'm not on a money chase. I think some people need to be on a money chase. Some people need to go get some money. Some people need to go get some money. Some people need to go find out how they're going to pay their bills, take care of their family, your doggone right. Some people need to be chasing the monies, okay? And then some people are in a place where they don't need to be greedy. You got enough. Go chase after God. And then some people have been chasing God for too long. They done got fat and unhealthy. And they, beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper as your soul prosper and be in good health. Some of them need to go back and remember the word and go get their health together. So I think everybody's in a different stage and season in their life. And that's okay. Be where you are. Stay focused. I believe when you in focus, you out of balance. Stay focused and get whatever the mission is for that season accomplished. So for me, I am unapologetically on a soul searching journey. I am really finding my soul, finding the thing that keeps me activated and feeling alive. I think feeling is a secret. Like the secret to getting to the next level is how do you feel? Feeling good is a strategy and feeling is a secret. A lot of people don't feel good. They don't feel good in their bodies. They don't feel good in their homes. They don't feel good around their friends. Imagine living a life that feels good to you. Like imagine, like for real, imagine everything you do just feels beautiful. And that's just where I'm at right now. I want to feel amazing and I want to align my heart and my soul together and to be able to just be. And I don't have to do anything. This is just who I am, is what manifests and creates all of the opportunities for me.
You know what's beautiful about what you're saying, Stormy? I often tell people in session when something traumatic, devastating, disappointing happens, what are you learning from it? Because sometimes what you're learning from it is to take you just to where you are. If what all this controversy was supposed to do is to get you in alignment with your soul, with your purpose, with God, if that was all this was for, it's only going to make you even more powerful, even more aligned, and you'll find new ways to speak to your audience, and they'll hear you in a different way. And I think it'll encourage people in a different way. I think that's really, really awesome to be in alignment with your purpose, because then all, like you said, everything is going to be now attracted to you. Ain't going to have to do nothing. It's just going to come naturally. That's a good place to be. So research shows what you're talking about is positive self-psychology. It's identifying your identity. It's identity exploration, actually. It's reinvention, and it's linked to increased life satisfaction, greater emotional resilience, and a stronger sense of purpose. You basically just summed it up with what you just said, and why I tell people, like, really tap into your purpose. Get aligned to your spirituality and don't chase after the money. The money will come if you're in alignment. So great advice. So as we get ready to kind of get to the end of the show, we got a lot of people making comments too. Thank you, Stephanie Rose. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I see you guys' comments. I'm so locked into the conversation. But we appreciate you being here tonight. You once again are listening to Conversations with Coach La La La. I have the phenomenal Stormy Wellington on the line today and also on the virtual couch because she's actually tuned in from Miami. Question for you. What's one thing that money solved? Or what's one thing money didn't solve or fix?
Money doesn't solve or fix your soul. You think that success is more than money. And I encourage people to get money to find that out. You would never know what that feels like until you got enough money to do everything you want to do. And then you realize, what about my soul? You can't pay for your soul. You can't go to the pastor or the preacher or the priest or whoever and say, hey, can I give you $1 million for a good soul? You can't buy that. You got to earn that.
Yeah. I think tonight I wanted people to be able to see the vulnerable side of you. I think often when you use words like hustle, people will immediately put a negative connotation to hustle, a negative connotation to people who manifest and speak big and talk about things that no one can see, right? They thought a lot of people who thought like that were crazy. Shoot, the person who created electricity, they thought he was crazy too. Most people who have created anything, somebody thought it couldn't happen. The cell phone. I remember when video phones wasn't even a thing. You know, that was another company. I ain't gonna give them no press, but people didn't see the vision. Other people did, but they didn't see it till it actually existed. Who thought we would have a phone where we could sit and video chat with each other through this little device? So everything started with a vision, and most people's visions are so big that other people can't see it. So sometimes you got to keep your visions to yourself, because I think it's for you. It's not always for everybody to see. Sometimes you got to keep it to yourself and just make it happen, and then you'll have all the receipts. But just a thought. Thank you again, Stephanie. She said yes, she's on here. She said, you know, hear that part. We got Regina. She also said she loves your drive. So thank you guys for tuning in. I also got my sister on here. I see you, Arabia. Thank you for tuning in too. I see you on the chat. So last section of our conversation, I call it Coach's Corner. And this is a time to just sort of check in. Some people that listen to the show are big sports fans, and I think everybody needs a coach, right? Everybody needs, even the best athletes have coaches, a therapist, guidance, spiritual guide. So there's space for us. And a lot of people don't realize that you need a coach. You need to be able to be grounded. So as you think about this conversation and just going forward with all of the headlines, all of the things people have said or haven't said, what's something you want people to take away from this conversation? They had an opportunity to be coached, and they go back later and listen to this conversation. What do you want them to take from it? What is the main lesson from your perspective?
You know what? Keep going and keep growing. No matter what, be in gratitude, but don't get complacent. Keep going and keep growing, and always be prepared for winter, spring, summer, fall. There's a reason why we have seasons in our lives, and every season is going to require a different version of yourself. So if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And so for me to be in this space right now, I believe it was necessary, but it's all because I think I called it forward, because it was time for me to shift and go to another level. And it takes pain to cause a pivot. So whatever pain you're experiencing right now, allow that pain to pivot you and push you closer to your purpose, so that you could do whatever it was that you were already predestined to do. And I think when we start understanding that nothing is permanent, we learn to take the good with the bad. So I hope that people know, learn from my life experience, keep going, and be ready for any curveball or any season to change, because you don't know. In real life, you don't know what month is going to be winter. You don't know what month is going to be summer. You don't know what month is going to be spring or fall. Just stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready.
Yeah, that's a good point. So who holds you up, Miss Stormy?
I got a couple of secret weapons behind the scenes.
Who holds your hand? Because I know you have your organization, you know, hold your hand. And I hear people
I have Girl, it's called Girl Hold My Hand.
Yes. Girl,
That
hold
is my community where we are women from all over the world, various backgrounds. We know ourselves, we love ourselves, we embrace ourselves, and we connect with authenticity. You can't connect to nobody if you ain't first connected to yourself. So I teach women to connect to your highest self. Even if you're in a low space, keep going so you could grow. And in my community is all different types of shapes and sizes, but more importantly, it's not just a community of women, it's a community of love. I have a lot of women that hold me up. It's a lot of them. I have Sheila, I have Miss Teresa, I have amazing queens like from all over that they serve me, I serve them. And I have some secret weapons as well, people that I don't even talk about that they call me, they check on me, they pray for me, they tell me when I'm right, they tell me when I'm wrong. And we need that too. So community, I think has been one of the most important parts of my journey. I couldn't do it if I didn't have a community of women that had my back. So shouts out to the Girl Hold My Hand community if you're listening.
absolutely. I have a question for you because that girl hold my hand is really important. And I had a young lady on last week who was one of the first Black women to open up a radio station slash media platform here in Boston. Her name is Danielle Hot Sauce Johnson.
Mhm.
And we were talking about collaboration and competition amongst women. So, from your perspective, why do you think women are taught to compete before we're taught to connect? Do you see that in the work that you do? And what advice would you give for women to connect since you are creating that community? And I see that a lot, that we have a hard time, especially Black women, often supporting and connecting each other without ego, jealousy, competition, and all of those things.
I think the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And if I could see competition instead of seeing collaboration, we lost. If you find a woman that is supposed to be your ally, you see her as an enemy, you lost. It's a beautiful thing when women come together and know their lane. Know your lane. Find the women that have what you lack and build a empire together. I think everybody wants to be the big chief. Ain't nothing wrong with being an Indian because sometimes the Indian plays a bigger role than the chief. And then guess what? There's no empire or no village without its prospective parts. So I think we all, it takes a village to raise a child, right? So I think if we all understand we have our own individual gifts and talents, there will be no jealousy or there'll be less jealousy. That's why it's important to know who you are. So when you get around another woman, you won't be insecure or intimidated by her. That's healing. I think that's a healing issue. I think that jealousy stuff comes from the lack of healing. A lot of us Black women, we're not healing. We just go to church and run around the church and speak in tongues. Who healing for real? Go heal yourself so you won't be jealous of someone that God sent to bless you. You thinking they said to curse you. Go heal so you can know the difference.
That is a whole word. So this is the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month. And what messages do we want to give women as we close out that are silently carrying pressure, expectations, and pain while still trying to show up every day?
Fuck that. That's what I say. Did you hear what I said?
I did. Don't say it again, no.
P-H-P-H-U-C-K. That's how you spell it, with a P,
Okay.
not with an F.
Okay.
You spell it P-H-U-C-K. And that means people hate, you can't create. Go learn how to find the identity that you want to live in. Sift and sort through what doesn't serve. And find ways to add value. You can't try to be the solution to everybody's problem. And you can't try to be everything to everybody. Find your lane, let it go, and P-H-U-C-K. Pay attention. Everything is not always what we see or think. You see how y'all just thought I was cursing? No. P-H-U-C-K. People hate, you can't create. Spell create with the K, and that means to forge your own origin and your own history for your own good. We got to be careful of believing the things people said about us. A lot of us become what everybody labeled us as, the box they put us in, or what they said we could do, or what we could be. When you break out of that box and decide to go be all you could be, the whole world will conform to you, not you conform to it.
Well said. As I told you guys, every virtual couch is about helping you build your capacity. Stormy's 100% right. I believe in helping people get to a point that they can stand on their own and that you have enough coping strategies, healthy ones, to navigate all that life throws at you. This chapter isn't about proving yourself anymore. It's about protecting your peace while honoring your purpose. So, Stormy, in this chapter, what are you doing to protect your peace while still actively pursuing your purpose?
I get on my knees every morning. I pray to God. I'm gaining wisdom through the Bible, learning the word of God, so I don't have to depend on nobody to come tell me nothing. Going back from the book of Job, Genesis, Nehemiah, Ecclesiastics, the book of Solomon, the book of Proverbs, really learning the word of God so I don't have to depend on nobody to build me up. Learning how to dance and sing and, tap into the divine feminine goddess that I am. A lot of times we don't understand the power of moving your hips and moving your waist and singing and gathering people and nurturing. Like I'm a boss, but I'm a nurturer first. And I've always been that girl. I've always been that girl that wanted to nurture and make my people better. And so when you get to that space, it's another level of joy that wakes up on the inside of you as well because of your beingness. So I have a beautiful dance with life. And it ain't easy. But when I started to realize how much I feel alive when I'm in that space, my goal is to stay there as much as I can.
Thank you, Miss Stormy Wellington. I appreciate you spending time with me tonight on the virtual couch. Is there anything in closing that you want the listeners to know? They're tuning in from iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up this virtual couch?
I mean, I said a lot. Listen to the replay. You'll miss it because I move smooth and I say it fast. And go back and listen to the replay again. Take notes and understand that you could be, do, and have anything in this world that you will have the disciplines to be. That's what it's about. It's your disciplines. You may be born like your parents. You look like your parents, but you're going to die looking like your choices. Choose better. And know that if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. My name is Coach Stormy on Instagram. I mean it. Go back and listen to this interview again. It's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And there's a lot of things that me and La discussed that can really help you to live a better life. Being that this is the last month of mental health, last day of mental health month, send it to a friend and know that we could be our best influencer or our worst nightmare. You choose.
Thank you. I want you guys to make sure you tune in next week. I have DJ Chubby Chub coming on. And make sure you keep on betting on yourself this week and keep it locked on Urban Heat 98.1 FM. Boston has Black Radio. Good night, Stormy. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I appreciate it.
Good night. Thank you for having me.
You're
Good night.
welcome. Good night.
We are the Urban Heat. Expect the unexpected. Unorthodox radio from Boston and beyond. Heat981fm.com and iHeart Station.